Before the beginning of time, in a realm of infinite light, God, in his supreme wisdom, created celestial beings to inhabit the heavens. Among them, one stood out with unparalleled splendor, Lucifer. Known as the bearer of light, he was the embodiment of angelic perfection. His radiant wings illuminated the cosmos, his voice led the celestial choirs, and his presence emanated peace and harmony. This is the story of Lucifer, the most beautiful of angels, whose journey from glory to the fall and beyond reveals the complexities of celestial nature and the eternal struggle between good and evil. From the very moment of his creation, Lucifer was endowed with extraordinary gifts. He led the celestial choirs in praise of the Creator, his melodies echoing like a divine symphony that transcended the heavenly spheres. His voice, both gentle and powerful, was like a harp that tuned the hearts of the angels to the rhythm of the divine will. Each note sung by Lucifer was an expression of pure devotion, resonating throughout the cosmos with incomparable beauty. Lucifer was not just a leader, he was a symbol of perfection and grace. His beauty transcended the physical, radiating a light that touched everyone around him. His heart was filled with love and reverence for the Creator, and he carried out his tasks with unwavering dedication. However, just like a flame that burns intensely, his brilliance began to attract attention not only for his beauty, but for something deeper and more disturbing. As time flowed in the celestial realm, the brilliance of Lucifer, once a symbol of pure worship and service, began to reflect something more complex and insidious. Within himself, he began to feel something new and disturbing, a spark of self-confidence that slowly transformed into something darker. His radiance, once a pure expression of his divine creation, began to reflect a subtle pride. And so it was that, wrapped in his own light and glory, Lucifer began to question, why, being so magnificent, must I eternally submit? Am I not worthy of a throne of my own? This thought, still small and almost imperceptible, began to take root within him, growing like a shadow that spread over his resplendence. As he contemplated these new ideas, a burning and insatiable desire began to take shape. He saw himself as a masterpiece, a singular creation whose beauty and power were unparalleled. Each day, as he passed by the other angels, his presence evoked admiration and respect. But within, Lucifer began to harbor a dangerous sentiment: pride. In Lucifer's heart, pride was not mere superficial vanity. It was an intense flame that burned with a blinding light. He saw himself not just as a servant, but as an unrecognized sovereign. I, who am the brightest of all, why must I follow the orders of another? He thought, his wings of light trembling with restless energy. Lucifer's beauty was more than physical. It was a beauty of mind and spirit, but that same beauty began to sow doubt and ambition. He began to regard his role with disdain, feeling that he deserved more than the adoration of other angels. He deserved to be adored for himself. In his heart, ambition grew, slowly but inexorably, like a vine that coils and tightens. Lucifer, with his seductive and enchanting voice, began to whisper his disquiet to other angels. Why should we bow? Why can't we be masters of our own destiny? He used metaphors and hyperboles to exalt freedom and independence, sowing the seeds of rebellion. His persuasion was like honey, sweet and irresistible, and many angels, captivated by his eloquence and charisma, began to follow his ideas. Heaven, which had always been a place of perfect harmony, began to feel the tension of discord. Lucifer's words were like a sweet poison, spreading slowly but surely through the hearts of the angels. They began to question, to ponder their own positions and the power Lucifer promised. The tranquility of heaven, which for ages had resonated with hymns of worship and peace, was suddenly pierced by the growing murmur of dissent. Lucifer, the once light-bearer, now seethed with ambition and discontent, and his charisma inflamed the hearts of many angels. His whispers turned into clamor, and discontent took the form of revolt. Why must we submit to an authority that limits us? Lucifer proclaimed, his words reverberating like soft but insistent thunder. He painted a seductive picture of a new realm where they would not be servants, but sovereigns. The symbolism was clear. He promised liberation from celestial bonds, an elevation of each angel to a state of glorious self-sufficiency. The angels, seduced by Lucifer's vision, began to align themselves with him. He was an imposing figure, his presence magnetic and his words laden with subtle irony, suggesting that true freedom lay just beyond rebellion. And so, heaven began to divide. Angels of light now found themselves on opposite sides, ready for a battle that would echo through the ages. The rebellion was not just a physical war, it was a war of ideals. Lucifer, with a voice that blended melody and venom, promised a new dawn. His vision was as grand as it was dangerous, a hyperbole of the power they could achieve if only they dared to rise against the Almighty. He used metaphors of liberation, comparing celestial servitude to chains that needed breaking. The heavens, once vibrant with light and harmony, now trembled with the imminence of conflict. Angels, once united in purpose and devotion, now looked at each other with distrust and determination. The rebellion had become inevitable, a storm about to break at the heart of paradise. And then the final confrontation approached. The tension in the air was palpable. Every celestial being felt the weight of what was to come. Lucifer, at the head of his army, prepared to face the supreme power, confident in his vision of a new realm. The celestial tension reached its peak as Lucifer's forces, engaged in their insurrection, clashed against the divine order. The heavens, once shimmering with the pure light of harmony, were suddenly torn by the roar of a titanic battle. Angels, once brothers in worship, now faced each other as fierce adversaries, each blow resonating with the force of 1,000 thunders. Lucifer, at the forefront of his followers, emanated an overwhelming presence. His brilliance was a challenge, a light that defied the supremacy of the Creator. However, the pride that fueled his strength was also his greatest weakness. The Almighty, in his infinite wisdom and power, could not allow such disorder to take root in the heart of heaven. The ensuing battle was a spectacle of immeasurable power. The angelic hosts, led by Archangel Michael, opposed Lucifer's rebel advance with unwavering determination. Michael, wielding his divine sword, faced Lucifer in a confrontation that shook the foundations of the cosmos. The flames of battle burned intensely, each strike a declaration of inevitable divine judgment. And then, like thunder heralding a storm, the final judgment descended. With incomprehensible power, Lucifer and his followers were cast out of heaven, falling like shooting stars in an inexorable descent. The image of their fall, once symbols of beauty and glory, now became a reminder that arrogance and rebellion have no place in the divine realm. The fall was not only physical but also spiritual. Lucifer, who once radiated celestial light, now found himself in the depths of the abyss. Transformed by defeat, he became the archetype of evil, a being consumed by a burning desire for revenge and dominion. Hell, a realm of darkness and despair, now became his domain. Yet his story does not end here. From the depths of hell, Lucifer, now known as Satan, began to devise new plans. He, who had once been the light-bearer, now became the Prince of Darkness, determined to continue his war against heaven in a new form. When Lucifer was cast from the heavens, his fall was not merely a physical descent, but a complete transformation of his being and purpose. He landed in the depths of a lightless abyss, a place of shadows and absolute despair. This dark domain, which would come to be known as hell, became his new home, and there, in the depths of the unknown, Lucifer metamorphosed into Satan, the adversary. Hell, under his influence, began to take shape. No longer the radiant angel of old, Satan was now a dark sovereign, his heart pulsing with a burning desire for revenge. His presence in hell was overwhelming, a force of pure malevolence that shaped that realm of darkness around him. Shadows danced around him, creating landscapes of unimaginable torment and suffering. The followers who had been banished with him also underwent transformations. Those who were once angels of light were now demons, nightmare creatures reflecting the corruption of their souls. They became Satan's subjects, each fulfilling his will with fierce obedience and an insatiable thirst to cause chaos. Hell, under Satan's rule, was not merely a place of punishment, but a command center for his operations against the celestial realm and humanity. He devised meticulous plans, using his cunning intelligence and manipulative abilities to corrupt and deceive. Every decision was an attempt to subvert divine order, to ruin what was good and just. Satan, the Prince of Darkness, turned hell into his throne of power, a place where he could conspire and plan his actions against the heavens. His realm knew no peace, only an incessant quest for ways to expand his influence and achieve his nefarious goals. The symbol of celestial rebellion, now a being of pure malice, continued his war in subtle and sinister ways. This realm of darkness, crafted from shadows and despair, was a reflection of his own transformation. No longer the radiant angel, he had become the dark sovereign, his presence permeating every corner of hell with palpable malice. Hell, now a labyrinth of torment and anguish, was a place where lost souls wandered hopelessly, tormented by demons who were twisted shadows of the angels they once were. These demons, loyal followers of Satan, carried out his orders with terrifying zeal. Hell was both a field of punishment and a base of operations for Satan's relentless war against the heavens. At the center of this domain, Satan devised his plans. He was not content to rule just hell. His ambition extended far beyond the depths. Earth, with its rich tapestry of human lives, became his new target. He knew that the human heart was susceptible to his seductions, and so he began to shape his realm of darkness with a clear purpose: to corrupt and dominate humanity. Satan employed a series of deceptions and tricks. His ability to manipulate and deceive was unparalleled. He used subtle metaphors to distort the truth and offer half-truths that seemed promising. His words were like sweet poison, infiltrating human minds and planting seeds of doubt and discord. He personified temptations, taking on attractive and seductive forms. His presence, often imperceptible, whispered promises of power, wealth, and pleasure, inciting human weaknesses. Satan knew that to divert humans from the path of light, he needed to appeal to their deepest desires and darkest ambitions. Through a combination of persuasion and terror, Satan spread his influence. His demons worked tirelessly to increase confusion and chaos, fueling conflicts and wars, inciting hatred and violence. Every act of evil on earth was an echo of the war that Satan waged against heaven. With refined cunning and unwavering patience, he infiltrated human lives in subtle and calculated ways. His presence was not declared, but insinuated, like a shadow that lengthens at dusk. Humans, with their free will and complex desires, became the perfect field for Satan's maneuvers. He deeply understood human weaknesses and ambitions, using this understanding to weave his plots. With an enigmatic smile, he offered what hearts longed for: power, wealth, pleasure, but always with a hidden price. As we face daily temptations and traps, it's natural to feel the weight of difficult decisions and the uncertainty that challenges our faith. But there is a light that can guide us through this darkness. Have you ever felt the weight of difficult decisions, or the uncertainty that challenges your faith? In moments of darkness and doubt, the teachings of Jesus Christ offer an unparalleled light. Imagine facing daily challenges with divine guidance that not only strengthens but profoundly transforms your life. Introducing the practical guide to overcoming daily challenges with the teachings of Jesus. This guide is not just a reading, it is a source of spiritual power that can change your life. Discover how to apply the eternal teachings of Jesus in real-life situations, finding solutions that go beyond the superficial. Don't waste any more time fighting life's difficulties alone. Now is the time to strengthen your faith and discover the peace that only the presence of Jesus can bring. This opportunity for transformation is unique and urgent. Click the link below immediately and allow the wisdom of Jesus to guide every aspect of your life, bringing clarity, hope, and renewed confidence in the future. His seductive voice, whispering promises into the ear, was an almost irresistible melody. Satan used metaphors of prosperity and freedom, painting pictures of a bright future that could only be achieved by following his suggestions. His human followers, often unaware of the source of their inspiration, acted as pawns in his grand game. Through a labyrinth of temptations and deceptions, Satan planted seeds of discord and corruption. He fostered greed in the hearts of leaders, instigated bitter rivalries among brothers, and incited devastating wars that ravaged entire nations. Every act of evil, every decision motivated by selfishness and greed, amplified his influence. But he did not act only in grand events. Satan knew that the details were equally important. In the small daily lies, in seemingly insignificant choices, he hid, shaping human character from the inside out. His influence was present in whispers of envy, shadows of doubt, and flashes of anger. And so, the eternal struggle between good and evil unfolded not only in grand battles, but also in the everyday lives of ordinary people. Satan, with his skill in manipulation and persuasion, continued to expand his realm of darkness. He used every opportunity, every human weakness, to advance his sinister goals. Earth, under Satan's influence, became an invisible battlefield where the fight for the control of human souls intensified every day. And as he continued to plot his schemes, a new phase of this epic saga unfolded. Every act of kindness met resistance. Every breath of hope faced a whisper of despair. The continuous battle between good and evil was not just a matter of grand events, but a war fought in the hearts and minds of each individual. Satan, with his infernal cunning, understood that true strength lay in manipulating the small daily choices. He was a master of illusion, capable of turning doubt into conviction, fear into anger, temptation into decision. Through his demons, he whispered words of discouragement and rancor, sowing divisions that fragmented families, communities, and nations. Irony was his favorite weapon, using it to distort the perception of reality. He made vice seem virtuous, lies wear the cloak of truth, and betrayal sound like loyalty. The symbolism of the forbidden apple in Eden was now a metaphor for the countless wrong choices he encouraged. Every act of disobedience, no matter how small, was a victory in his war against the light. Satan's presence was ubiquitous, but rarely recognized. He worked in the shadows, his influence felt but unseen. He personified the very essence of evil, an invisible enemy that attacked without warning. His ability to deceive was so great that many did not even realize they were being led astray. And yet the battle was never lost for the light. Amid the darkness, there were always those who resisted, who chose the path of virtue and truth. The struggle was constant, a game of opposing forces that shaped the destiny of humanity. Satan might win battles, but the war was still ongoing. As he continued to devise his evil plans, the resistance also grew stronger. Those who recognized his influence banded together, forming networks of light to combat the darkness. The fight between good and evil intensified with each passing day, each side seeking new ways to overcome the other. In the modern world, where technology and progress seem to have answers for everything, Satan's influence, the fallen angel, manifests in increasingly sophisticated and insidious ways. His methods have adapted to the times, becoming harder to detect but no less devastating. The symbol of his presence is everywhere, hidden in plain sight. In the frenzy of daily life, we are often blind to the whispers of temptation that permeate our decisions. Satan doesn't need to appear in grotesque forms to exert his influence. He is present in seemingly insignificant choices, white lies, and small betrayals. His voice is a soft melody, an irresistible temptation that promises the world in exchange for a small concession. The signs of his presence are visible in the unrestrained greed that consumes hearts, the incessant pursuit of power and control that destroys communities and nations. He delights in discord, fueling conflicts between brothers, friends, and even strangers. The irony of his influence is that he promises freedom while chaining souls to selfishness and despair. In the realm of finance, we see his invisible hand in the corruption that poisons entire systems. In personal relationships, his shadow is in infidelity, betrayal, and the breakdown of trust that disintegrates families. In politics, he whispers empty promises, encouraging leaders to follow the path of oppression and authoritarianism in the name of order. The media, a powerful tool for good, also becomes a vehicle for his deceptions. Fake news, misleading propaganda, and information manipulation are instruments he uses to sow confusion and fear. The truth, once clear and sharp, is distorted, and the lie becomes so common that many begin to doubt everything and everyone. But Satan does not content himself with influencing major events. He infiltrates the minds of ordinary people, inciting self-doubt, feeding insecurities, and amplifying fears. The internal struggle of each individual between light and darkness within themselves is a battlefield where he seeks to gain ground. Yet amid these signs of corruption and despair, resistance continues. Those who recognize the evil influence seek ways to combat it, reaffirming truth, promoting justice, and spreading love and compassion. The story of Lucifer, from his glorious creation to his devastating fall, is a powerful reminder of the fragility of pride and the strength of goodness. May we always choose the light, guided by the eternal quest for good in a world where Lucifer's presence is still felt.